Hey there, this is Joel and welcome back to another video where today we are talking about this pocket hole jig from VEVOR. Now this is something I've wanted for a long time. I'm not really a woodworker, but I am a pretty handy guy, and I found myself on many occasions saying, gosh, I wish I had a pocket hole jig so I could put a face frame together and hide those screws and just make everything I do a little bit nicer. And this is going to be the ticket. So I'm gonna show you how to use it. We're gonna unbox it, see what it comes with, and we're gonna see how good of a job it really does. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. First, let's open up the box and see what it comes with. All right, here is what's in the box with your VEVOR pocket hole jig. You get instructions, which are pretty handy if you've never had a pocket hole jig before, want to learn how it works. Everything's included here. Not a whole lot of information, just 4 or 5 pages, but they do have some handy pictures. So set that aside, you'll probably want that. Then in here, you have the jig itself, or at least the main part of the jig here itself, your clamping arm with adjustment. Really nice machined, feels like machined aluminum. So we'll set that aside. Then here you have the actual hole drilling jig, which attaches to this larger portion here. We'll get to that in just a minute, but this is the same material. These are your holes that you can drill down into. Really nice adjustments. This is heavy duty material, and they include a couple drill bits and extensions here. So this is a couple of the drill bits that will fit these holes perfectly. And then they have some extensions here for your drill, a shorter extension and a longer one for square bit screws. But these just make it easier to drive those down into the pocket holes without your drill bottoming out on your wood. It also comes with a starter set of screws, which you'll have to buy after the first few, and then some filler strips if you want to fill your pocket holes. You can always make these with dowels and just flush cutting them with a flush cut saw. You also have your drill stops in here. So these are going to go on your drill bits here to control the depth. They have a little Allen key head there, and the Allen key, there's 2 of them. They will go on your drills and just stop these drill bits from going in too far so you don't go through your wood as you're drilling your pocket holes. So everything you need to get started. Now let's go ahead and put this thing to the test, see how it does. And just take a quick look at the side of this portion of the jig. You have adjustable depth. You just loosen these brass screws and you can slide this up and down. You see those depth markings there? You've got 1/2 inch all the way at the bottom, then 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, and 1 inch, then all the way up to 1.5 inches. All you do is set your depth here with that little white arrow. You can see that there. And then tighten these down on both sides, and you have your depth set for your pocket hole drilling project. And if you want to use the jig with this included clamp, which I kind of prefer, you can just remove these brass screws all together here on the sides. Make sure you mind these little plastic washers, and this slides all the way out here. And then you can slide it. If you can see this here, you can slide it right on the front of this. It fits nicely right there. And you have the same exact functionality, putting in your little brass screw on both sides. Don't lose your little plastic washer there. And now you can adjust your height from here as well. And you can use this to adjust and clamp your wood into place. So it holds it nice and steady. It's going to be vertical. It's going to be up and down like this. But then you, instead of drilling horizontally, you can drill down into your piece this direction. That's my preferred way to use a pocket hole jig, and you can use it either way with this clamping system or just with this, we'll call it the free system and a clamp on your own. And just to reiterate, these feel like super high quality tools because they are. They are machined metal. They really have sharp, precise measurements on them. I love not only the color, but the design and the overall feel of this jig. It just gives you the ability to do some really cool cuts in your woodworking, or should I say some really cool drilling with these to hide your screws, making face frames, cabinetry, things of that nature. And I love the fact that VEVOR is making something that a high-end woodworker would be proud to use. Their stuff is really affordable, and I think that that matters. As I said during the unboxing, my preferred method of using this jig is with the included clamp. Now you could take this piece right here, we showed you earlier, and clamp this to a board flat on your table like this. And that way you would be drilling in this direction. I really prefer to work down. So we're using it in this direction here. We're gonna drill down into the jig just like that. So I've got these two 2x4s here that we're gonna use as our test pieces. One of them is going to get clamped into the jig, and then we are going to place them both together in kind of a T orientation like this, only we're gonna hide all of our fasteners on the back here with the jig. So let's go ahead and get things set up. Now, when you're using small stock like this, you don't really need to attach this to the table because it is so heavy, but it does have screw holes, which I would recommend if you're going to use this regularly, that you attach it to a workbench. So you could mount it here and attach, they have 6, or should I say 5, 4 in the middle, 1 right here, kind of pre-sunken holes for screws to mount it to a table. That would make it so much easier, so that every time you go over to drill a pocket hole, you kind of have a pocket hole station. But this is heavy and this is a tiny little piece. So for now, I'm just gonna clamp it here and we're not gonna have it attached, but that's the way I would do it long term, is attach it to something. So first thing we're gonna do is make sure that this receiver here, or should I say that this clamp here, is set to the proper depth. Now, I already set this for my 2x4. That's a little video magic, but you can change this here. There are 2 nuts right here that you just screw in and screw out. You can put this in and out to your proper depth and then lock it in with the second nut. You can really just do this hand tight. Center our piece as best as we can, and then clamp it down nice and tight. It's a nice positive clamp. I even think it could be a little bit tighter, so I'm going to give it another half turn. There we go. We want a really tight lock on there so that this isn't going anywhere while you're drilling out your material. So we've got it centered here. We have our holes in the back. The screws they provided us with are not super long. I'm gonna say that these screws are probably 1 inch. So for this test, I am going to leave it at 1/2 inch. I would say these are 1 inch or 1.25 inch screws right here. So we're gonna leave that there at 1/2 inch, tighten it down, and go ahead and recenter our piece. Clamp it down, nice. Now I've already set my collar here, but let me quickly jump behind the camera with a little movie magic and show you how I did that. Now before you drill, you're going to want to install this stop collar, and it's really easy. All you do is slide it over the back of your drill bit, and you're going to need to set your drill bit. In this case, we have our clamp, set it into one of your holes and allow it to rest all the way at the bottom like that. You don't want to go any further than that. Obviously you can't. I like to pull it just a tad up so it doesn't make contact. And then we're gonna come here on the stop collar and we're gonna tighten up the Allen head. Just like this. You don't need to torque it on there super, super tight, but just, I'm gonna back that off just a skosh so we're not all the way down. There we go. But just to ensure you go all the way through your piece, tighten it there, and then you can give it just a quick tighten here. And now, when you drill your hole, it will automatically stop your depth, and you will not drill into your workpiece here or damage your jig. All right, so now that we have our bit guide on here and we have our piece clamped into the jig, we can go ahead and drill our holes. Now there are 3 holes in the back, but I'm only gonna drill 2. I think that's all we need. So let's go ahead and get to this. I'll try to give you a nice view. I'd normally face this toward myself, but I'm doing this for you. So here we go. Just kind of follow the angle of the jig. There we go. And come right out. You're just letting the drill do the work, and you'll see the sawdust is coming out the hole in the back side of the piece. We're gonna do one on the far side, so we have 2 holes, one on each side. Here we go, we hit our depth, and we've got our sawdust here coming out the back side. And I'll go ahead and unclamp this. So now you can see we have 2 pocket holes on the back of our 2x4, which will allow us to attach it to our other 2x4 just like this, showing only fasteners on the back, none on the front. Of course, we could fill them with the little wood dowels that they give us, but if you're building a face frame or something, that's just not gonna be visible anyway. So let me clean this up, get my impact driver, and we will attach these and see how well it does. All right, we've got a clean workspace now, so we've got our pocket hole piece and we've got our regular piece ready to receive. I'm just gonna line these up rather crudely. We're not doing precision work here. This is just a demo. I've got the long bit on this. It's not really necessary when you're driving small little screws, but you'll just see as you're getting down into these pocket holes, you're going to need that skinny tip there to get down into it. So the deeper hole you're using, the longer bit you'll need. You could actually use for this the smaller bit, but I'm gonna demo it with the larger bit. So we can go ahead and get these in here and get them started, just so they're right on the edge. There we go. Place them together. Here we go. And here we go. Start to put them in. Wow, that was pretty easy. Stick the second one in here. And look at that, nice firm hold, pocket holes drilled. That's a 1-inch screw there with a 1/2-inch hole. The front, no fasteners. The back, we've just got 2 little tiny pocket holes. And I think this is gonna be a really handy piece to have, something I'm gonna use all the time. It was super simple for me. I've never used a pocket hole jig before, even though I know how they work. It was super simple for me to use and adjust. I took a quick glance at the instruction manual, had some pictures that really helped, and it enabled me to do this quickly and easily. So now if I want to build cabinet face frames or something else that's a little elevated, I can use my new pocket hole jig to do that. So if you're looking for something to level up your woodworking game, it definitely seems like this is going to fit the bill. There's lots of different ways you can use it. I've got nothing to complain about from the beginning of the unboxing to setting it up to actually using it. It worked really well. It was intuitive, and there's really nothing that made me scratch my head and wonder why did they do that. So check this one out for yourself. Let me know what you think. It might just be the right pocket hole jig for you.